In the abyssal depths, where light and hope are foreign concepts, the Balor reigns as a horrifying apex predator of demonic realms. Born from the purest essence of chaos and ruin, this demon is an embodiment of annihilation, feared even by its most malevolent kin. Towering, with leathery wings and wreathed in hellfire, the Balor is more than just a creature, it is a cataclysm personified. Each swing of its fiery whip, or its lightning blade, is a stroke against the fabric of reality itself. To meet a Balor is to stand at the precipice of oblivion, peering into a void that hungrily peers back. Now, let's focus on its features. The Balor's AC is like a demon's version of haute couture armor, tough, trendy, and fireproof. It's got a fashion sense that says, I'm not afraid to flaunt my natural armor, but even dragons are envious. And with 262 hit points, this Balor is like a blazing bonfire that refuses to go out. It's not just healthy, it's a hell heatwave. Tip, never challenge it to a game of who can take more damage. Now with a land speed of 40 feet, the Balor is like a sprinting nightmare, and when it takes to the sky, its fly speed is 80 feet. It's like a winged torchbearer of doom. The Balor doesn't walk, it sprints and soars, feet style. Now let's talk stats. With a strength of 26, the Balor's strength is off the charts. As if it's been bench pressing trends for fun. It's demons that could give ogres a run for their money, and trolls might just ask for autographs. With a 22 for constitution that could make a mommy jealous, the Balor laughs in the face of poisons and ailments. It's got the kind of endurance that could turn a epic battle into a marathon. While not the most dexterous feat in the abyss with a dexterity of 15, the Balor still moves with a grace that belies its fire nature. Who needs nimble fingers when you can wield a longsword like a maestro? The Balor's wisdom is like a window to the abyssal soul. With a wisdom of 16, it's the kind of demon that's seen it all, making traps and tricks. Think twice before trying to outsmart it. With a charisma of 22, the Balor's charisma is so high it could sweet talk a devil into doing its laundry. It's a demon with a gift of gab, turning negotiations into a dance and bards into groupies. While not the bookworm of the abyss, the Balor's intelligence of 20 shows it's got brains to go with its brawn. It's the kind of demon that can plan a battle strategy and still light a campfire without a flint. In conclusion, the Balor's character sheet is a mix of raw power and infernal charisma, proving that demons can be both brutal and charming, with attributes that could make even dragons jealous. Now for his saving throws, he's rolling in style. With a plus 14 strength, the Balor's strength saving throw is like a weightlifter bench pressing dragons. When it comes to grappling, it's like the champion of demons sending creatures flying like they're caught in a fire hurricane. And with a plus 12 constitution saving throw like that, the Balor could run a marathon through a volcano without breaking sweat. It's like it's got a magical energy drink that boosts its endurance every time it's challenged. And with a plus 2 dexterity, while not the most nimble demon in the abyss, the Balor still manages to move with a grace that defies the fiery nature. It's like watching a flaming ballet, intense, dramatic, and surprisingly elegant. The Balor's plus 9 wisdom saving throw is like a lie detector for demons. It's a kind of insight that sees through illusions and predicts a rogue's every move. Trap? Not today. And with a charisma saving throw of plus 12, the Balor could talk a devil into giving up his infernal secrets. It's the kind of charm that has bards taking notes and bowing in admiration. The Balor's plus 5 intelligence saving throw shows it's got brains to match its brawn. It's like a strategy mastermind. Always a step ahead and never outwitted by spells and enchantments. Why did the Balor start a detective agency? Because it had both the brains and brawn to solve any infernal mystery that came its way. Now let's talk about resistances and immunities. For resistances, cold and lightning attacks might as well be the demon's idea of a chilly breeze. The Balor's resistance makes it the ultimate elemental survivor, giving it a protective shield that laughs in the face of icy gusts and shocking jolts. When mundane weapons try to harm the Balor, it's like trying to tickle a volcano with a feather. It's just not happening. It's as if the Balor's skin has been toughened by 1,000 lava baths, leaving mundane attackers to wonder if they're hitting a brick wall instead. And if you didn't get that, it means he's resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. And for its immunities, fire and poison damage, nah, this Balor's got an uninvited sign for those. It's a demon's equivalent of saying, I've got my own immunity club. Fire turns into a friendly handshake, and poison might as well be a bedtime story. This Balor knows how to party, just not with those particular elements. Now for condition immunities. Poisoned? Not the Balor's vocabulary. It's all fire, brimstone, and nonsense. You could try to poison it with a gourmet eel laced with toxins, and it would just smile and last for seconds. Now for its senses. A true sight of 120 feet is the Balor's way of saying, I see through your illusions and into your soul. It's like an x-ray vision for demons with attitude. And with a passive perception of 13, the Balor can spot a rogue's clever hiding spot from a mile away. Sorry, sneaky rogues, the Balor's got you pegged. Unless you roll really stupid high. Now for languages. Speaking Abyssal is like the Balor's VIP pass to conversation with fellow demons. It's the language of the Abyss and the Balor speaks it fluently. And the Balor's telepathy isn't just for making dramatic entrances. It's like a fiery phone line, connecting minds within 120 feet. Hope your thoughts are demon friendly. Now let's get to the passive features. The first one is death throws. When the Balor goes down, it goes down with a bang. Its fire explosion isn't just an exit, it's an infernal farewell tour. Creatures within 30-foot radius have to make a DC 20 dexterity saving throw, or they're in for a scorching 70 fire damage. It's like the Balor's way of saying, I'll take you all with me. Pyrokinetics, anyone? We then have Fire Aura. The Balor's Fiery Aura is the ultimate don't stand too close warning. Creatures within 5 feet of the start of its turn take 10 or 3d6 fire damage, as if they're getting a toasty hug from the Abyss itself. And flammable objects, they burst into flames like they're in an infernal bonfire festival. It's a fiery walk-in closet that even fire elementals would envy. No wardrobe changes required. We then have its spellproof swagger with magic resistance. The Balor's got the kind of magic resistance that makes spellcasters rethink their career choices. With advantages on saving throws against spells and magical effects, it's like the Balor's waving a no magic allowed banner. It's an anti-magic force field with a side of not today wizard. Makes you wonder if it moonlights as an arcane bouncer. And that's followed by magic weapons. The Balor's weapons aren't just sharp, they're enchantingly sharp. The Balor's weapon attacks are magical. It's the demon's way of saying my sword's magical, just with a fire attitude. Why did the Balor become a stand-up comedian? Because it knew its fiery wit could really ignite the crowd. Who needs fireballs when you got one-liners? And now for its action. When the Balor multi-attacks, it's like saying, who wants a taste of fiery doom? It's serving up a buffet of bad news, and adventurers are the main course. 2 attacks, a long sword swing and a whip snap, each one leaving a mark hotter than a dragon's ego. The Balor's longsword isn't just sharp, it's a double threat. Slashing damage of 21 or 3d8 plus 8 means lightning damage of 13 or 3d8 in a storm of pain. And if it scores a critical hit, lightning strikes thrice instead of twice. It's a thunderstorm of a blade, and it's looking for a target. Step aside, Zeus. The Balor's whip attack is like a demonic lasso that also is on fire. It deals 15 slashing damage or 2d6 plus 8, and it adds a fiery 10 fire damage or 3d6 to the mix. But wait, there's more. The target must save a DC 20 strength saving throw or be pulled 25 feet towards the Balor. It's the ultimate get over here! With added flames for dramatic flair. Lastly, we have teleport. The Balor's teleportation is like a disappearing act with flair. It magically teleports up to 120 feet, along with its gear to an unoccupied space it can see. It's like watching a fiery comet dash across the night sky and reappear where you last expected. Blink, and it's gone. Only to reappear again with an infernal grin. Well, technically abyssal, but you get the point. Now let me talk about its features. Let's talk settings. Here are 3 settings that could work for your world. For our first setting, we have the Abyssal Palace of Flames. In a realm distorted by chaotic magic and bathed in infernal glow, the Abyssal Palace of Flames stands as a bastion of fearsome Balor, named Azurnath. Ancient scripture suggests that Azurnath was bound in a deep prison within the palace by the gods themselves, but has recently been unleashed. Rumors whisper that the Balor seeks an ancient artifact known as the Eye of Eternity, said to grant immortality and unspeakable power. Azurnath aims to use this artifact to establish his reign of darkness over both the Abyss and the material plane. It is a horrifying thought that weighs heavily on the hearts of the bravest warriors, and it compels them to journey to the Abyssal Palace to stop the Balor's dreadful plan. For first plot hook, we have the Vanishing Caravan. A Drake caravan vanishes mysteriously. The last reports place it near the ruins, which act as a portal to the Abyssal Palace of Flames. Fear arises that Azurnath minions may be crossing the boundary between the realm. For a second plot hook, we have the Curse Oracle. An oracle in a small village has a terrible vision about the world engulfed in demonic flames. She sends the heroes on a quest to the Abyssal Palace to stop the impending catastrophe. For a unique element, inside the Abyssal Palace, time flows differently. Every second equals an hour in the material plane. The players must complete their quest within a strict time limit or suffer catastrophic consequences. And for a twist, the Eye of Eternity is not a weapon but a chained celestial being. Freeing it will not only thwart Azurnath's plan, but will grant heroes a divine boon. For a second setting, we have the Crumbling Tower of Shadowthorn. The crumbling tower of Shadowthorn was once a fortress of a mighty wizard, but now it stands in ruins and serves as a lair for Irgalos, a Balor with a cunning mind. Unlike other demons, Irgalos prefers manipulation over brute force. He has been sowing discord among kingdoms, orchestrating conflicts, and engineering wars, drawing pleasures from the chaos he creates. However, his ultimate goal is even more devastating. Irgalos' aim is to ignite a global war so overwhelming that the very fabric of reality would tear. Allowing the abyss to merge with the material plane, the stakes have never been higher, and the dread is almost palpable. For our first plot, we have the War Council. The heroes are invited to a council discussing an inexplicable sudden rise in conflicts among peaceful nations. Suspicions point towards a sinister influence in the crumbling tower of Shadowthorn. For a second plot hook, we have the spreading darkness. Crops are failing, animals are dying, and dark omens are appearing. Elders say these are signs of the abyss, and tracks lead to the crumbling tower of Shadowthorn. For a unique element, the crumbling tower is filled with illusions and traps. The players must constantly question their perception and reality, making wisdom and intelligence checks crucial. For a twist, as the dust settles and Irgalos' form crumbles, a torn parchment slips from his grasp, settling before the heroes. Gingerly, one of the party members picks it up and begins to read it aloud, a heartbreaking confession. It reveals a pact between Irgalos and several influential human kingdoms. The mighty human leaders, in their thirst for power and dominance, have promised the great Irgalos a portion of their lands, allowing him to carve out a personal realm in the material plane, in exchange for his aid in their political machinations. They could easily overthrow their rivals and establish an era of unmatched dominance. And now for our last setting, we have the Catacombs of Desolation. Beneath a scorched earth where nothing lives, the Catacombs of Desolation spread like the tendrils of a deadly vine. This is the lair of Gravax, a Balor of unimaginable savagery. His madness knows no bounds. His strength knows no limits. Unlike Balors who scheme and manipulate, Gravax is a tsunami of destruction. His presence alone warps the world around him. Landscapes turn barren. Seas boil. Even the bravest warriors dare not speak his name, lest they invite his apocalyptic wrath. The catacombs are not a den of intricate traps or labyrinths. They are a battlefield. The stalactites and stalagmites resemble an army of petrified souls, each a monument to a fallen challenger. Your footsteps echo with the cries of doom. As you venture deeper, Gravax seeks the Tome of Eternal Night, an artifact that will amplify his innate chaotic energy, enabling him to unleash a cataclysm that will consume both material plane and the abyss. The air is thick with tension, and the burden of destiny is an unbearable weight on your shoulders. For our first pluggo, we have the cracked sky. One morning the sky cracks, and through it an abyss of flame can be seen. Seers and prophets understand it's an omen of Gravax's imminent rise, and a sign that the Tome of Eternal Night is within his grasp. For a second pluggo, we have the last testament of a hero. The soul of a fallen hero appears to the adventurers, delivering a desperate plea from the afterlife. They explain that Gravax is close to obtaining the tome, and beg the heroes to reach the catacombs and stop him before it's too late. For a unique element, the catacombs themselves are alive with the essence of Gravax. The walls move, the earth shakes, and the very air tries to crush those who enter. It's not just a battle against Gravax, it's a battle against the cataclysmic environment he embodies. For a twist, as Gravax's brutish form staggers, weakened by the relentless assault, a final savage roar escapes his lips. The roar is a terrible sound, but it reverberates in frequencies you didn't expect. It echoes like a cry of pain, not just from Gravax, but from something else entwined within his very being. The Tome of Eternal Night, still ominously present in the chamber, flares up in a pulsating glow, revealing the source of Gravax's indomitable strength. An elemental spirit of pure fury and destruction, shackled in eternal torment within the Balor's twisted soul. This spirit is not a victim, it is a force of nature bound to Gravax, but equally insatiable in its lust for devastation. Freed, it will not be grateful, it will not be controlled, it will be as Gravax was, a tidal wave of annihilation, unguided and unrestrained. You stand at the cusp of an impossible decision. By vanquishing Gravax, you can release the spirit, rendering the Balor powerless, but also risking the spirit's raw, untamed energy being unleashed upon the world. Or you contain it, knowing full well that you're leaving a cataclysmic force bound in torment. Each choice is a mirror reflecting the savage and brutal world you are fighting so desperately to save, protect, or perhaps even change. In the final moments of your confrontation, amidst the oppressive darkness of the catacombs of desolation, you realize the unbearable truth. Sometimes there is no clear path to heroism, only choices that weigh heavy with the burden of potential havoc. As you confront Greyvax, you're not just confronting a demon, you're confronting the savagery and brutality that lies at the very heart of existence itself. That's all we have for settings, so let's talk about unique features. I created the following features to enhance the Balor's already powerful repertoire. Our first feature is Inferno Wings. When the Balor unfurls his wings as an action, a burst of flames envelop an area in a 40-foot radius around them. Creatures within the area of effect take 7d10 fire damage. A DC 20 dexterity saving throw halves this damage. In addition, the Balor can move up to half his flying speed and not provoke any opportunity attacks. Ever been to a barbecue and thought, oh, this could use some more Inferno? Well, Balor's got you covered. When he says he's spreading his wings, he's not talking about trying a new hobby. He's literally about to light up your world. Here's some fire advice. Don't forget to stop, drop, and roll, and maybe bring some marshmallows. His second feature is Fiery Wake. As the Balor moves, he leaves a trail of abyssal flame in his wake. Each square he exits bursts into flames that last for 1 minute. Any creature that starts his turn in or moves through the fiery squares takes 3d6 fire damage, no saving throw required. You know how some people light up the room when they enter? Well, the Balor lights up the room as he leaves, and not in a warm fuzzy, I feel inspired way. More like, oh my god, my boots are melting kind of way. You better hope you're not following too closely behind him, or else you're going to be learning the hard way that hot on its trail isn't just an expression with the Balor. And the last feature is connected to the Catacombs of Desolation, the Hellforged Blade. Greyvax wields a massive sword pulsing with abyssal energy that has a unique ability to ignore armor bonuses provided solely by spells or magical effects. Each slash deals 8d6 slashing damage, with armor bonuses from mundane sources still applicable. However, any armor bonuses granted by spells or magical effects are negated. Targets hit must also make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw or be left bleeding, taking an additional 2d6 damage at the start of each of the turns for 1 minute. The wounded creature or a creature within 5 feet of it can use an action to make a DC 17 Wisdom Medicine check, adding the effect on such wounds on a success. You got a cloak enchanted by the Archmage of wherever, or maybe you've been blessed with the divine aura of some celestial deity. Greyvax finds that charming, really he does, and by charming I mean utterly irrelevant. His Hellforged Blade has a particular taste, it only slices through magical defenses. So go ahead, put on your magical vestments, enchant yourself to the heavens. Greyvax will still be there to cut you back down to size, one painful reality check / at a time. That's all for this video. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next drop. If you enjoyed this content, check out our other stuff. Do it. You know you want to. Also, tell me about your favorite encounter with the Balor in the comment section below. Have a good one.